Alright, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So if you caught my last video, you saw we finally got the motor and the transmission out of the Evo. So as you can see, I have it on the engine stand. I'm pretty proud of myself. It's the first time I've ever put an engine on an engine stand by myself. Back in the day I had my bros with me, but we got it done. I'd say I'm sitting pretty, flush or whatever, or right? I don't know, whatever. But it's good to go, and now I'm actually gonna go ahead and start taking the motor apart. So when I pulled the motor, I left the harness on the engine. It just made it a little bit easier as far as getting it out. And when I go to put it back together, I can put the harness on outside of the car, then drop it in. Just seems like way easier to do. So now we're gonna go ahead and start pulling apart the motor, trying to figure out what all is still usable. I'm hoping that the head is okay, but honestly, I don't think that it is. So I'm gonna show you what I found on the back side of the block. So that was the first hole I saw initially, and I assumed that that was the only hole that was blown in the block. Just that one right there. That's like kind of where the starter would sit, in that area there. Well, in the back, there's a hole there as well, and it goes straight through. I believe the alternator's in the way, so you can't really see all the way through, but it goes straight through. So I think that's cylinder number 1, and yeah, the rod is gone. It's completely, it's gone. And over here as well, you can see like stress cracks on the block. I don't know if you can actually see that there, but maybe at the bottom here. But yeah, you can see like stress cracks and where it almost threw a rod there as well. So yeah, it's pretty, that block is done. I mean, I knew it was done prior, but it's like done. But yeah, so it's early in the morning, so we're gonna go ahead and get to work pulling this apart. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the harness first and start removing both the intake exhaust manifolds. I'm probably gonna leave the sensors in because, I mean, there's no point in removing the sensors because I'm still gonna reuse that stock intake manifold. Exhaust manifold, actually gonna do a different exhaust manifold because I actually bought an aftermarket one and I bought another turbo, so spoiler alert there. But yeah, let's go ahead and get to work. If anybody knows what this goes to, please let me know. I have no idea what this goes to. Our harness is completely removed, and that wasn't bad at all. I mean, I still have my plug and play adapters for the ID 1000 or ID 1050 injectors that are on here, but aside from that, harness is no longer intact, so we're good. So next I'm gonna actually go ahead and move on to probably the alternator, and then free up some space so that way I can go ahead and remove the intake manifold, because intake manifold should 100% be reusable. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull that off, put it to the side, remove the fuel rail, fuel pressure regulator, alternator, everything basically on this side of the motor, and then I'll probably move on to the back side or where the turbo is. Turbo has already been sold, so I'm gonna keep that here until my guy comes to pick it up, but it's It's the MHI 18K. We went ahead and ordered a new turbo. Yeah, details on that when that comes in, but it's another stock frame turbo, but I should be able to make a bit more power than I can make on the MHI, so I'm excited about that. But yeah, making progress, so let's keep it going. All right, really quick, look at this. This is insane. Straight through the block. There's no coming back from that. That's crazy. Okay, so got the intake manifold off. I'm trying to look in the valves or look at the valve to determine whether or not they're all like bent up or bent out of shape. So for the cylinders that were messed up, so 1 and 3, I'm guessing this is 1, that's 3. In cylinder 1, I don't know if you can see it or not. I'm trying to put some light in there, but there is a ton of like metal debris in there. So it don't look bent out of shape or anything, but there's definitely metal in the intake ports, so which definitely isn't good. Now the head is surprisingly clean, and if it's damaged, I'm gonna be pretty upset just because of how clean it is. Next, we're gonna have to remove the timing cover, so that way we can remove the timing chain and the cams and be able to get to the head studs or the head bolts. All right, head's just about ready to come off, so I had to run to the auto parts store to grab the correct size for the head bolts, which is a T55, I guess Torx bit, however you say it, I don't know. So I am good to go as far as removing the head bolts. Before I do that, I have to disconnect this water line. This goes from the thermostat housing to the water pump housing. I have to remove that. And then I should be good to go as far as removing the head from the block, separating the head from the block. And after that, I think I'm gonna be pretty much done for the day. So let's go ahead and get that knocked out.
The next day.
Okay, so it turns out that a regular Torx bit, the T55 Torx bit, did not work. So I went to 4 different stores. I went to Lowe's, Harbor Freight, Home Depot, O'Reilly's, AutoZone, maybe, is that 5? I went to 5 different stores and I still couldn't find one. So what I needed was a long one. So the 2 head bolts closest to the, I believe, the timing cover side, the hole is kind of recessed, so you can't get the regular Torx bit in there. You need a long one. A long one like this. So I borrowed one from a local shop, so shout out to them for letting me get this. But I finally got the head off, and so I'll let you guys take a look. So as you can see, I mean, as we already knew, the block was destroyed. Look at that. That is insane. I've actually never blown up a motor before, or I'm still not accepting fault for this, so I didn't actually blow the motor up, but yeah, I've never experienced this before, so this is still kind of like shocking to me, but the damage is insane. So the piston isn't even like sitting flat. This one is completely destroyed. But yeah. But that was the condition of the block, and I'm guessing you guys can probably already assume the condition of the head given the state of that. So unfortunately the head is not usable. So in comparison, you can see this cylinder was fine. This one didn't get damaged. And you see about right here where it's like there's kind of like a ledge here, I guess you could say. Like, well, here it's completely destroyed. It's not there, and because of that, it is unusable. Or I would deem it unusable. I don't know. I've heard of people in some situations, I guess, like welding certain spots of the head to make it usable, but I don't know that I'm comfortable with that. I'm just gonna try to find a used head. It does suck, but I guess it was still necessary to disassemble the block. One, it gives me an idea of how it needs to go back together, and two, there's several parts on the block that are still usable, like on the outside, for example, the sensors. I can still use those. But with the motor being outside of the car, as you can see, I still need to upgrade the clutch master cylinder. And with the motor out of the car, it should give me a lot more room to go ahead and get that finished. Next week's video, I may actually go ahead and do that. I can't imagine this video being very long, but I do appreciate you guys checking it out. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video.